Shadowverse. Murum Earth Zara. Dot. 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 Zara looks at Makhail feeling hurt and betrayed. That jerk, she thinks, slapping him in the face, and he goes back over to Blaze, rolling her eyes at his comment. How can I get him to be like Blaze? She thinks to herself as she grabs her lunch. The weight of the tray somehow a reminder of her emotional turmoil. She scans the crowded lunchroom, searching for an empty seat. Her eyes land on a small table in the corner, partially hidden by a large potted plant. She makes her way over, trying to ignore the stares and whispers from other students who have clearly already heard about the morning's events. As she sets her tray down, a boy named Ethan approaches her table, clearly eager to gossip. Beat it, she snaps, annoyed. Ethan hesitates for a moment, his smile faltering under Zara's glare. He starts to say something but then thinks better of it, shrugging before walking away with exaggerated nonchalance. Dot. 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 A year after Blaze was enlisted. Dot. Dot. The corner of the lunchroom is quieter than the rest, though the background chatter still presses in from the surrounding tables. Not seeing Blaze, she remembers he was granted leave to see Kira. Dot. Dot. Later in the night, Zara looks around confused as higher-ups around the military academy speak in hushed tones. Someone tried to assassinate a regional leader's daughter. This is such an attack that may very well drag us into war. She hears her CO say as she eavesdrops around a corner. I wonder who it was, she thinks as she slips back to the barracks. Dot. Dot. Sneaking past a sentry as its past lights out. She nears her bed and pauses as she overhears Blaze praying for her donor for the military cloning program. What happened to Kira, she wonders, slipping into her bed. No, that can't be. Was she the one? She whispers to herself as tears well up in her eyes. Dot. Dot. A day after the attack, while at breakfast, she overhears their CO telling Blaze about Kira and that they are accepting visitors now. She smiles as the CO gives Blaze permission to take leave. I really hope she's okay, she thinks. Dot. Dot. Just then another CO approaches her. Zara, we may have a solution to work out our tensions with Talcar. Nothing's set in stone, but trades of personnel and other items of interest are on the table, he says, seeming upset. Zara's blue eyes flash with an electric spark. I don't want to go there if that's what you're asking. The CO's face tightens slightly, a subtle muscle working in his jaw. It's not a request, soldier. He speaks with a steely edge. You are one of our top operatives, and this trade could be the key to averting a full-scale war. There's no one else we can send who has the right combination of skills and connections. Besides, you're a clone. Government property, remember. She crosses her arms, her hands curling tightly into fists. She can feel her magic thrumming at her fingertips, reacting to her heightened emotions. The CO remains standing before her, his gray eyes steady and unwavering. I'm not saying the military is right for that, but you and others involved could save a lot of lives if this works. Zara stiffens, her face tightens in resolve as she responds. Fine, I'll do it, but I want it in writing that if I complete this mission, I'm released from my cloning contract. The CO's eyes narrow slightly, his face unreadable. That's a big ask, soldier. The government doesn't like to lose their investments. He pauses, considering. I can't promise anything, but I'll see what I can do with my superiors. Zara stands up, her magic pulsing more strongly now, casting a soft blue glow around her. Then I guess we have a deal. When do I leave? The CO nods grimly. Within the next week or so. Dot. Dot. She shivers, feeling a chill run down her spine as she heads back to the barracks. The CO's words still echoing in her mind as she reaches her bed. Looking over, she sees Blaze packing up, clearly getting ready to visit Kira. Blaze, she calls out, her voice wavering slightly. He turns, surprise crossing his face at seeing her. Zara, what are you doing here? He asks, concern etched on his features. Aren't you supposed to be at breakfast? She swallows hard, her hands shaking slightly as she approaches him. Blaze, I need to tell you something. She starts, her words tumbling out in a rush. I'm being sent to Talcar. He pauses. That sucks. Makhail almost got traded too, but he's more loose cannon than us. He says, then sits a moment looking at her. They only send clones though. Kinda messed up if you ask me. Who are you a clone of? You look familiar but I can't quite figure it out. She chuckles. I was taken from some battle mage out there in the world. Glad I got a pretty face and better hair. She says, then looks over at Makhail as he comes in. Blaze looks between them, then pats Makhail on the shoulder. They might be doing a trade of assets and she might be one. He says, and Makhail looks at him in shock. Can you leave us to chat? I'm sure Kira really wants to see you. Zara turns away and wipes a few tears, as Blaze hesitates, glancing between them. Sure, he says finally. But you too. He pauses, his face tightening with concern. Just be careful, alright. He grabs his pack and gives Makhail a meaningful look before walking away. The barracks suddenly feel smaller as Zara and Makhail are left alone. She keeps her back turned, not wanting him to see her wipe away her tears. The silence between them is thick with unspoken words. He shifts uncomfortably behind her. Why? He finally asks, his voice rough. Why do you always do this? You act like you hate me, but then you. He cuts himself off with an irritated sigh. She laughs. I don't know, but I don't hate you, she says as their CO comes into the room. Okay, Zara, it's time to go to our base across the town and await the verdict, he tells her. As she follows him, she looks back at Makhail. I love you, she says as the CO guides her away. Makhail stands frozen in place, his face caught between disbelief and something deeper. He watches as Zara disappears out the door, his jaw working silently. The CO notices his expression and raises an eyebrow. That girl's got a mouth on her. Better hope she can keep it under control in Talcar. The older man's words fall flat as Makhail stares after them, his hands clenching and unclenching at his sides. Outside, Zara follows the CO through the military compound, her mind churning. She didn't expect to say that, to admit it aloud, especially not like that. Dot. Later that week the trade agreement is finalized by both sides. As Zara boards a strange metal craft with wings, she swallows nervously. The sleek hypersonic aircraft's 5 engines whining. What do they call that thing? She asks a CO clone who nervously tilts her head. That would be Talcar's multi-purpose hypersonic bomber transport. Can reach Mach 6.2 and deploy weapons at Mach 4.5. She says. Zara gasps. What? And all we have are jeeps, some factories and some guns, as most modern stuff is heavily regulated. The CO clone nods grimly. And you? They want the strongest female clone they can get their hands on. She adjusts her uniform collar nervously. Don't worry, they won't hurt you much. Just do what they say and you'll be fine. Zara clenches her jaw, forcing herself to take deep breaths as the engines whine louder. The aircraft is nearly full with various crates and weapon systems. In one corner sits a small cell-like enclosure, her quarters for the flight. She makes her way over, the floor vibrating beneath her feet. As she settles into the cramped space, the aircraft doors seal with a hiss. Zara looks at her CO. How bad is it in Talcar? Is it as bad as the rumors? She asks, wishing Makhail was with her. The clone piloting the craft gives her a tight smile as she checks her instruments. You'll be at the capital city first. It's different than you'd expect for a dictator's palace. Very modern, but the provinces outside, those are rough. She doesn't look at Zara as she says this, focused on the pre-flight checklist. The engines roar to life, sending vibrations through the entire craft. Zara grips the small railing inside her compartment as the aircraft lifts off. She presses her forehead against the thick glass window, watching the familiar military compounds shrink away. Using her enhanced senses, she sees that the military academy has Blaze and Makhail doing new drills. She shakes her head. Poor Blaze, he and Kira traumatized by a handgun, and now, Blaze has to train with the very same brand and model used in the assassination attempt. She thinks. Shaking her head, she tries to calm her nerves, seeing Makhail with his modern M4. The jet enters the clouds and she feels her chest sink. Looking around as the MHBT-71 shutters breaking Mach 1, she takes comfort in the fact that at least others are with her. I'm glad some adults are here too, 14 years old and already traded to another country. She thinks. Zara watches as the landscape below morphs from familiar to unknown, the craft maintaining its supersonic speed. The female pilot occasionally glances back at her, her face revealing nothing. We'll be landing in 8 hours, she calls out over the whine of the engines. Try to get some rest if you can. They'll want you alert when we arrive. As the aircraft continues its journey, Zara's thoughts drift to Makhail. She replays their last moments together in her mind, wondering if she should have said more. The words had just slipped out, but now they hang heavy in the air between them, a truth she can't take back. She sighs. I wish he was like Blaze though, instead he's always flirting with everyone but me. And now all this, she whispers quietly. ... The aircraft levels off at its cruising altitude, the sound of the engine steadying to a dull roar. Zara's mind refuses to quiet, replaying every interaction with Makhail over the past months. She pictures him training in the yard, his confident stance, the way his eyes flickered to her when he thought she wasn't looking. The memory of his face when she blurted out those words before leaving makes her stomach twist. She should have waited, should have found a better time, somewhere more private. But the words had come out in the heat of the moment, and now they were fixed in time. Outside the aircraft, the sky darkens gradually as they fly westward. ... Around 6 years later, her 20th birthday just days ago. Zara stands at the front of a large cruise ship-sized vessel, though shorter in height, its armor and guns aided by technology and magic, the vessel built more like a battleship. The deck is dotted with Talcarian soldiers in crisp uniforms, their rifles slung over their shoulders. Ahead, looming beyond the horizon, lies a massive fleet of ships, led by the Murim 01. Her jaw sets as several railgun clubs flash by overhead. Zara clenches her fists as she sees the massive ships in the distance. She has trained hard these past 6 years, honing her battle magic until she's become one of Talcar's most lethal weapons. The Murim 01, their flagship, bristles with weapon systems, its hull studded with railgun emplacements. Smoke trails rise from the vessel as it unleashes a salvo toward their incoming fleet. The water churns violently from the impacts, geysers of spray erupting dozens of meters into the air. She winces seeing the Murim 01 take a hit under its rear, magic-aided shaped charges encircling most of the vessel. Then it sinks like a stone. Thousands of life forces inside as it slips below the waves just on the horizon. A deck officer beside her shouts, 17 ships inbound, Captain. Course bearing 257. Zara doesn't move as she watches the massive ship vanish beneath the waves. She'd known they were at war, of course, but seeing the reality of it hits differently. The water churns where the Murim 01 was last visible, bubbles rising in enormous cascades. The surviving ships adjust course slightly, forming a tighter defensive formation. A lieutenant approaches her with a clipboard. Battle Mage Zara, your sector's been confirmed. Second wave of counter-fire in 90 seconds. He taps the clipboard meaningfully. She takes it, scanning the assignments quickly. Her hands are steady as she looks up at the approaching fleet. Understood. She sighs, glad to be taking prisoners if they find any. The lieutenant barks orders to his men as Zara steps to the edge of the ship's rail. She inhales sharply and gathers her power, feeling it surge through her. The familiar burn begins in her chest as battle magic manifests around her hands. She raises them, arcane energy crackling between her palms. The ship lurches as another volley from the Murim 01's sister vessel slams into the opposing fleet. Explosions boom across the water, distant but growing closer. Zara steadies herself, adjusting her stance as the deck plates vibrate beneath her feet. The opposing ships are drawing near, their hulls glinting in the setting sun. The roar of jets in the air as defenses open up. Zara exhales slowly, the energy in her hands intensifying as she focuses her power. Dot. Dot. The approaching ships now visible as dark silhouettes against the sky, their turrets lighting up with the flashes of gunfire. A sharp, high-pitched whine builds in her ears as she channels more power, magic and gunfire creating a chaotic orchestra. A massive railgun slug hurtles past, missing the ship by meters but creating a shockwave that rattles her bones, though she doesn't flinch. The opposing fleet is well organized, the thought sending ice through her veins. Dot. Dot. 30 seconds. The lieutenant shouts over the din of battle. As she looks out over the roaring seas and sky. Talcar's 40 ships open fire, the chaos and death spreading quickly as life forces vanish above and below the waves. The battle slowly turning one-sided, she looks out at the devastation. Makhail and Blaze are out there somewhere, she thinks to herself. Sensing beneath the waves, the life forces from hundreds of men and women rise towards the surface. Dimming as they vanish far below. Feeling numb and detached from the world, she awaits her own orders from the leader of Talcar. Zara stands firm as the enemy ships draw closer. Her battle magic crackles between her palms, the energy pulsing outward in waves. Around her, soldiers brace themselves, gripping the railings as another volley from the opposing fleet slams into the protective screens shielding the ship. The magic-infused barriers ripple and distort under the impacts, but hold firm. A voice crackles through her comm. Battle Mage Zara, hold position. Enemy vessels are deploying countermeasures. Stand by for priority target acquisition. Her fingers tighten around the magical energy as she scans the horizon. The ships ahead begin their final approach, their hulls bristling with weapons. Far below she senses two energy signatures near the bottom of the sea 10,000 feet below. That has to be them, they're the only ones that could survive those conditions. She thinks as she focuses on them. The fluctuations of their energy slowly rising towards the surface. The deck officer beside her gestures sharply. Target locked, Battle Mage. The center vessel, take it down. Zara nods once, her focus narrowing on the lead enemy ship. The magical energy in her hands intensifies, crackling with the raw power of her battle magic. Her body tenses as she channels the full force of her ability, feeling it surge through her core and outward in a blinding flash. A massive beam of searing blue energy erupts from her hands, slamming into the lead vessel's shield matrix. The protective field warps violently, distorting as the magical blast erodes it. A large blast hammers the ocean surface, a plume of water rocketing skyward. The vessel breaking apart in a spectacular explosion, debris and bodies launching into the air as the magic-aided railgun assault devastates the ship. She feels the strain in her chest and arms, the immense expenditure of power making her lightheaded. But her rest is short-lived as others appear, secondary explosions dancing across the destroyed vessel. Excellent work, Battle Mage. The deck officer shouts over the chaos, before bracing himself as another volley of enemy fire crashes against their shields. But they're deploying a counterattack. Get ready. Zara steadies herself, already feeling the familiar burn of battle magic rekindling in her core. As she considers abandoning Talcar, a beat reminds her. They put an explosive in my skull and already killed most of those traded years ago. She thinks as another wave of strike fighters approaches. The approaching ships draw closer, their gun emplacements glowing with gathering energy. The deck officer beside her shouts, Battle Mage Zara, they're targeting our port side. Counter fire now. As he speaks, a massive energy blast tears through the defensive screens, revealing the opposing fleet's true power. The magic-infused shields shatter in a spectacular display of crackling blue energy, the blast wave knocking several crew members off their feet. Zara channels more battle magic, its familiar burn spreading through her chest as she prepares to counter. The magical energy around her hands intensifies, casting strange shadows on the deck. She raises them, the power surging through her as she prepares to unleash another devastating spell. Dot. 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 As she senses Blaze and Makhail climbing onto the hull of an overturned ship, she sighs hoping they avoid capture or death. Then the comms vibrates in her ear. The nuclear-armed MHBT-71 is on approach. Prepare defenses and ready our prison transport ship. They may have weaker magic, but they may survive as well. If they do, we move fast and take no chances. If they resist, kill them. The leader of Talcar says in her earpiece. Zara nods grimly, her battle magic already surging through her body as she waits. The massive shape of the nuclear-armed battleship looms on the horizon, its presence alone a threat to life itself. The deck officer beside her barks out more orders as the crew scrambles to prepare for what's coming. Battle Mage Zara, we need those prisoners alive. The boss wants to interrogate them personally. I understand, Zara says tersely, already feeling the strain of maintaining the energy. Her fingers tingle with raw power as she focuses on the approaching ship, its hull a dark silhouette against the fiery orange and red glow spanning the horizon. Dot. Dot. Her breath grows more labored as the moment nears, unsure if she can even handle what's about to happen. Dot. Dot. 3, 2, 1. Bombs away, bombs away. A sonic boom from the sky. Dot. Dot. There's a faster-than-light pulse from multiple directions as Zara pours all her energy into the defensive shield. There's a bright flash and at first silence. The fireballs scorching and vaporizing anything unprotected. Her enhanced sense of seeing a friendly vessel's battle mage not even get the chance to notice, their shield failing against the intense bursts of nuclear energy. The shockwave reaches her ship and everything goes black a moment. The others aiding in defense floored by the force. Though their shield holds. As the glow and forces fade, Zara drops to her knees trying to catch her breath, her body aching and numb as her vision starts fading to black. Dot. 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 The world spins around her as her battle magic ebbs, leaving her drained and disoriented. Through blurry vision, she sees the deck officer staggering nearby, blood trickling from his nose. The air crackles with residual energy as the ship's systems struggle to recover from the massive surge. A ship-wide alert blares, multiple breaches in portside hull. All available hands to emergency repair stations. She feels herself being lifted as two crew members rush to her aid. Battle Mage, are you alright? Can you walk? The deck officer's voice echoes faintly as he moves closer, his words thick with concern. As she blacks out, she thinks of Makhail and Blaze. They were just there and then. She feels her heart hurt, then feels a worried relief. Sensing them both, their energy almost completely faded as they float in the water near each other a few hundred yards away. No, please let them survive and not be found, she thinks as she senses crippled enemy vessels being boarded by Talcarian soldiers. The deck crew drags Zara to a medical bay as the ship's systems struggle to maintain stability. Medical technicians hurry to stabilize her, checking vitals and injecting restoratives. Through the haze of exhaustion and pain, she hears fragments of reports, 3 breaches sealed. Hull integrity holding at 65%. Minor radiation leak in compartment 7. She fights to stay conscious, needing to know Makhail and Blaze survived. Her enhanced senses strain through the chaos to find them, pushing past the pain. Their signatures faint. She gasps, gripping the medical technician's arm. The 2 prisoners. In the water near the wreckage. She thinks a moment, then says. They survived the nukes without a ship's field to protect them. She shakes her head, feeling dizzy a moment. They're floating over to the ship's right at 40 or so degrees and 700 meters out. Barely alive, and one's an original. Like my donor for the cloning program. Pausing as her mind clears and her energy returns slightly, she takes a breath, feeling detached from her body. His name's Blaze, she tells her CO. Dot. The CO rushes to verify her information, already knowing the significance of having captured a genuine original. Dot. The ship's sensors are hastily redirected, picking up the two drifting figures in the water. Found them, someone shouts. But they're barely alive. The radiation levels in the water are off the charts. Dot. Zara wonders if she did the right thing. I'm still not sure if it was them or not. There are others like us. Lots of others, though most aren't as strong as us. She thinks as she exits the medbay and heads to the prisoner interrogation rooms. The vessel heading towards the two energies. Dot. Blaze. Kira thinks, starting to panic, unable to breathe as she almost collapses. Dot. A few minutes later, over a dozen shotgun-like booming red windows around the door, startling Kira into a hysterical breakdown, with shockwaves hitting like a punch in the chest. Her brother Zalcor steps up next to her. I doubt he even had the guts to not jump ship and desert. Before freaking out, maybe try that magic stuff. Just saying. He says, causing her chest to burn with anger worsening at his words. The sun shines over the horizon, the battle quiet as Makhail and Blaze float on their backs in the water. An enemy ship approaching, wreckage nearby getting closer as Blaze gasps in pain, slowly opening his eyes. Makhail, you still alive? We are so lucky. We didn't get hit by that close range. He says, unsure if he can even move, feeling almost completely out of energy. Makhail smiles weakly. Yeah, buddy, I'm still kicking. And you're right, we really did get lucky there. Looks like we've got another problem though, that ship's heading right for us. Blaze chuckles. Think they'll just run us over, or blast us with their cannons? He says, turning his head to watch them approach. Makhail lets out a humorless sigh. Well, it's a warship, man. They'll probably do both. He looks over at Blaze, taking in his battered and exhausted form. But we've been surviving this long. Let's give them a fight, huh? Blaze moans in pain. Surviving? Or are we just dying? Seems like that's what we've been doing, he says. You know what I mean, buddy. We've made it this far, and we're not going to give up now. We can take those assholes out if we work together. Makhail reaches over and grips his shoulder. You're not alone in this, buddy. Dot. Blaze looks at the ship as its small wake pushes water over his face. Well, how do we get out of the water? He gets his answer as a walkway extends from the side of the ship at water level and soldiers exit through a door, aiming guns at them. In his mind, Makhail pushes out. Well, that's an easy one, buddy. First, we get caught. Blaze looks at him like he's crazy. Hey, you asked how. That gets us out of the water. And they didn't just shoot us, so maybe they want prisoners. Just don't let them know we are not normal till we need to, or we could be dead. He says as the men order them to slowly swim over and climb up. Yeah, Blaze agrees, still feeling tired and sore. He looks up at the soldiers as they instruct them, wondering what they have in store for them now. I hope they really just want prisoners, he says under his breath. Dot. Once on board, Blaze is gut checked by a large man with his rifle butt. Falling to the gangway gasping, he gets hit again, going down, as Makhail is knocked out over the head by another. Dot. As Blaze comes to, his head pounds as his eyes ache. You alright, buddy? A male voice asks, concern evident in his tone. He feels a foot kick his knee and opens his eyes to see Makhail, bloody and disheveled but otherwise seemingly unhurt. The enemy soldiers appear to be occupied elsewhere on the ship. Makhail. He pants, fighting to catch his breath. You. Okay. Makhail grimaces, wincing as he moves. Yeah, I'm fine, more or less. What about you? Yeah, but I feel beaten pretty good and tied up. I can't tell. How's it look? Makhail winces as his head throbs where he was struck. I think we're on the same boat still. They probably want information from us. He looks around squinting to see where their captors are. We should play along, at least for now. Maybe we can find a way to escape later. Dot. 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 A week later, Talcar finds Kira at her meditation spot on the beach as she stares out over the ocean. Sitting in a nearby chair, he frowns. Kira, you'll be happy to know. Blaze is alive, but he has been captured by the enemy. I'm rather impressed he's alive at all given how cowardly he is. Kira closes her eyes, feeling a mixture of relief and despair. Talcar, I know you don't understand, but Blaze isn't like that. He's brave, and he'll fight for what's right. He chuckles. He can't even beat you when you're training with him. He smirks. Talcar, please, Kira says, tears welling up in her eyes. You don't understand what we've been through together. Blaze isn't the coward you think he is. He's done so much to protect the people he cares about, and I know he'll keep fighting. No matter what, and if you can't respect my husband, I won't teach you anything. Say what you want outside, but on my time respect him, she says as she wipes her tears. Talcar sighs and nods. Fine. I understand you're upset. I'm sorry for the comments. I'll do my best to support you both. But please, don't let his capture take away from your own focus. Kira nods, trying to compose herself. Thank you, Talcar. I appreciate your understanding. She takes a deep breath, then continues, but it's hard not to worry. They're treating prisoners so brutally, and Blaze. He's my everything. My best friend, and I don't want to lose that. Dot. 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 Deep within the ship, Makhail winces as he is thrown into a small, cramped cell with several other soldiers who had been captured. The air thick with the stench of sweat, blood, and fear. He collapses onto the hard ground, barely noticing the pain in his body and hardly able to move. Hey! Leave my brother alone. He grunts angrily as they drag Blaze to one of their interrogation rooms as he begrudgingly complies. Dot. Dot. As Makhail coughs up blood from the beating he took, he cringes at the thudding impacts of a rifle butt and Blaze struggling to breathe. A struggle breaks out and a few prisoners look as Makhail winces hearing a solid hit to the head. When they bring Blaze back out, the other prisoners start to feel demoralized seeing the two men drag him to the cell door. Shoving him inside, his limp body falls to the floor as he struggles to breathe. Makhail grits his teeth and scrambles over to Blaze's limp form. Blood trickles from his mouth and his clothes are a mess. Grabbing him by the collar, he shakes him. Wake up, buddy. We've got to get out of here. You can't die, man. Kira's waiting for you back home. Gotta make it through this, buddy. He says, feeling helpless. As Blaze groans and begins to stir, Makhail feels a surge of relief. Blaze, man, it's me, Makhail. We've got to get out of here. We can't give up. He winces as a fresh wave of pain hits him, but determination fuels his words. Dot. Dot. Blaze looks at him, seeming a little more energetic than his appearance suggests. Kira sent me some energy. She's been practicing. As much as she can every day. Getting better at it too. Not bad for only a few days, huh? He says, rolling to his side. Makhail smirks weakly. Yeah, that girl. Always full of surprises. So, what do we do now? Think we can take out enough of these guys to get out of here? Blaze coughs harshly, wincing from the pain it causes. Maybe. Not all of them. Makhail sighs at the sound in his voice. What do you mean by, not all of them? Blaze sits against the wall in pain. The one that hit me, that really hurt. The last few hits, they're like us. He tells Makhail, who sighs. Damn it, which one? The big one or the little guy? Blaze shakes his head, regretting it as his headache gets worse. Neither. It's a blonde woman. Kara or Tara. Wait. Her name's Zara. He says. Makhail grins stupidly. Is she cute? Oh, you'd like her. He replies, knowing his brother's type. And she's got quite the temper. But don't let that fool you, she's actually really smart and determined. And she's a total badass in a fight. He chuckles weakly. Makhail nods his head and then gets more serious. Wait, did she beat you like that before or after Kira gave you energy and were you at full strength? He shakes his head, even at full power. Might be a problem, I'm not even close to that though. They don't feed us or let us sleep much if at all, he tells him. Dot. 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 15 days later. Dot. Dot. Kira's face flushes, anger rising in her chest. Zalcor, she growls. I don't care if she's hot, or smart, or whatever. She's our enemy, and she's keeping Blaze and his brother hostage. I thought you wanted to train. If you do, then why are you trying to make things worse for him, worse for me? Please, for once. One time. Help me. Help Blaze and the others. Zalcor frowns, feeling guilty but unable to find the words to respond. After a moment of awkward silence, he decides to change the subject. Look, about the energy amplifying thing. I know it can be powerful, but it's important not to rely on it too much. We need to focus on our own abilities as well. She scoffs at the irony. What do you think I've been doing? If I'm gonna help Blaze from here, I have to be way better. For him and to help others. Besides, I've already pushed myself past anything I've done before. Like having something to fight for drives me to be better. I know you understand that. She wipes her tears with her hand. And your friend, if she really isn't a bad person and she's your friend. Food or something for the prisoners on their fortress ships. That's not a lot to ask for, she says, and Zalcor agrees. Okay, I'll try, but don't blame me if they don't go for it. And just so you know, Zara was pulled into this just like everyone else was, he tells her. She looks at him, feeling something is off. Where have you been vanishing to? You're not messing with that energy again, are you? The dark energy. If you are, it's not good for you, and if you don't stop using it, I can't teach you anymore, she warns him. Dot. 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 The next day in the fortress ship, Blaze is unconscious as Kira taps his mind. Can you hear me? He nods. It hurts. So much. He says, curling into a ball. As it feels like she is beside him, giving him energy. It's okay. I'm here. Don't give up. Don't lose yourself. Makhail. Blaze manages, his voice hoarse. I'm still thinking about Zara. She's not like the others. I don't think she wants to hurt us. His brother grins. I know for sure she's not too bad. I think she might have flirted with me this morning, he says, side-eyeing Blaze, who shakes his head. Yeah, how? A rifle butt or fist to the face. Makhail bursts out laughing, regretting it as he grunts in pain. Both in a kidney punch to say, hey cutie. Just then a dainty but fierce female voice shouts from the doorway. Blaze. Makhail. Both of you, hands out of the cells for cuffs. You're coming with me to a shielded area, Zara says as she walks in. Without emotion, her almost glowing electric blue eyes study the cells full of suffering men, her mid-length blonde hair tied in a bun under her black military cap. I said get up, assholes. As Makhail obediently follows the orders, nursing his wounds and still grinning. What, you gonna hit me again? I kinda like it. There's a loud thud into his gut that makes everyone wince but Zara, and he drops to his knees. She grabs him by his hair, pulling his head back. I do like hitting you more than him. Maybe I should just save the captain the time and just give you a new permanent smile, she says, putting a knife to his throat. He hesitates a moment as everyone watches on edge. Well, at least you're beautiful and I die excited. She knees him in the stomach and the room giggles a little despite their situation. She looks at everyone sternly. Blaze, carry this one, she says, walking away a little as she smirks. Makhail shakes his head. For what I can. Oh, he says, and the room flashes blue as she gives him an energy-charged right hook to the jaw. The room grows quiet as she leans towards Blaze. Did I stutter? Or do you want carried too? She says, motioning for him to pick up Makhail and follow her. Dot. Dot. From their home along the beach using her senses, Kira watches as Zara leads them away. Her fists clenched in anger. I hate her, she mutters under her breath. She's so cruel, so cold, and even Blaze thinks she's cute. But I trust him. Zalcor puts a comforting hand on her shoulder. I know it's hard, Kira, but we have to stay strong in this war. She wheels around on her brother, scaring away her birds. You better not have told her to hurt them, she says as the rain starts to fall over the city. Dot. 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 Blaze picks up Makhail and painfully follows. As she walks, she leads them through several bulkheads and down long halls, eventually reaching a room with no one inside. She motions for him to carry Makhail inside and closes the door behind her, locking it. Your friend is super annoying. It might get him killed, she says. Dot. Dot. Kira starts pounding on the enchanted door, desperate to reach Blaze and Makhail. Let me in, I need to help him, she shouts through the metal. Zalcor tries to pull her away, but she continues to struggle against him. Kira, they have a seal on that room for a reason. They know we're watching them. You want to help them. Let them handle this, he says. Dot. Dot. Inside the enchanted room, Zara looks at Blaze as he sets the still unconscious Makhail into a chair. As she slowly walks around the room, she thinks for a moment. I won't lie to you. We can use Makhail for bait. Lure him into a trap. The Alliance is planning something big, maybe even taking back the world, she says as she faces the boys. You could use that. She leans in close to Blaze. Explain this to me, she says, turning to a screen in the wall. The screen turns on and shows drone and other recon footage. Blaze sighs as the images show the two of them on top of a ship's upturned hull. The nukes explode with the shockwave slamming them into the water as bodies and gore around them are vaporized. She eyes Blaze intensely. I can't even take one of those. Without a nuclear reaction helping power the shields, but you too. Our leaders have a deal they'd like to make. Give us a child with your genes and we will let all of you go. You. Your men, your annoying brother. You can all just go home. Unless anything is stopping anyone, she says, eyeing Blaze's wedding ring. Dot. Dot. Zara's words hang heavily in the air, as they all contemplate the impossible choice. Blaze looks to Makhail, who is slowly starting to regain consciousness, and then back to Zara. Makhail clears his head. Can we trust that our friend here will not betray us? He says firmly. He looks over at her and grins. You said have our kids. And you think she's not flirting? He says to Blaze. She rolls her eyes, grabbing his head as she slams it into the table. See what I mean? He's annoying. You though, you're quiet. They like that. We have another task for this flirty one here, she says, moving closer to Blaze. He shakes his head, stepping back. Hey now, don't touch me. She steps closer to him, trapping him against a wall. Maybe you'd feel better if you asked your wife. I'm sure she'd understand that it's to save everyone, she says. Dot. 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 Kira continues to pound on the door, her anger growing. Let me in, Blaze, she shouts. Zalcor tries to calm her down, but she's consumed by frustration. He puts a hand on her shoulder. They did make an offer. A child with their genes for the lives of the war prisoners. Her eyes go wide with shock. No, they wouldn't do that, she whispers, horrified. They wouldn't force him. Zalcor nods grimly. They've already said they're willing to go to extreme lengths. If it's willingly, they said they'd release our men they captured and put on the fortress ship. Kira's eyes fill with tears as she continues to pound on the door. No, Blaze, we can't let that happen. We can't let them force you into something like that. We'll find another way, I promise, she sobs. She reluctantly turns away from the door as her strength finally fails her. Rubber banding back to her body, she gasps with a jolt as the emotions hit her. She looks at her brother Zalcor. Was that your idea? Please tell me you didn't offer my husband and his brother to them. Zalcor shakes his head slowly. No, Kira, I didn't, he says, his voice clearly filled with regret. But they're willing to make a deal. We have to think about our options. Kira closes her eyes, struggling to control her emotions. She takes a deep breath, trying to compose herself. I don't know what to tell him. We can't let them die, but we haven't even done that, she cries. Dot. Zara presses Blaze harder. I don't. He manages to stammer through gritted teeth. I can't. Kira is my wife. Dot. That's right, Captain. Blaze's loyalty to his wife could be our greatest asset, Zara says, thinking back to how she sensed Kira giving him energy. She reaches out and cups his face, forcing him to look at her. You love her, don't you? You'd do anything for her. But if you don't do this, your men will die, Zara says, she herself refusing to force Blaze, sends them both back to their cell and the other prisoners of war. Dot. That night, Blaze tells Kira about what happened as they talk in the dreamscape. Kira thinks hard for a moment. Tell her that you'll do whatever it takes to save your men, Blaze. But only if she swears to me that she'll keep them safe, and that they'll let you all come home. She says slowly. She clenches her fists, thinking about the other condition. A fusion of energies. I'd have to amplify our energies and add mine as well, she thinks. 12 hours later, Zara narrows her eyes, studying Blaze's expression. She bites her lower lip thoughtfully. Very well, Blaze. If you are willing to make such a sacrifice for your men, I shall honor your contribution. They will be well taken care of, and you will all be returned unharmed once this is all over, she says, relaying the words of Talcar's leader. Dot. Kira nods, relieved, but still uneasy. Thank you, she whispers. We appreciate the gesture. She exchanges a tense glance with Blaze, both of them knowing what this means. There's still so much at stake, but for now, they've bought themselves some time. Dot. As Kira hears Blaze's voice in her mind, she grips her pillow tightly, fighting back tears of frustration. She's so angry with Zara, with the situation, with herself, but most of all, with Blaze for getting captured in the first place. Why do we have to be so damn heroic? She thinks. As the time approaches, she sighs. I might as well be there with him and amplify Zara's energy too. If things don't go well, it could ruin everything, she thinks, focusing as she joins them with her astral form. Dot. Zara's features harden as she leads Blaze back into a small but cozy room. This time Makhail isn't present. She presses a control panel and seals them in, the reinforced metal thudding shut. The overhead lights dim to a sterile blue glow. This will work best with my energy first, to prepare you, she says matter-of-factly. Blaze nods, steeling himself. He'd already discussed the plan with Kira. They would do this, but not how Zara expects. Zara's hands touch his shoulders, firm and confident. Energy crackles between them as she channels into him. Relax, she instructs, though her tone isn't particularly gentle. Her energy surges into Blaze, crackling like a live wire. The energy pulses in waves through his body, settling into his muscles and nerves with uncomfortable heat. His skin flushes as her power courses through him, awakening latent strength that wasn't there before. Kira melds with Zara as she amplifies their energies. Her astral form mirroring Zara. The shared magic shifts, coalescing into something more refined, more targeted. The heat under Blaze's skin turns almost molten as Kira and Zara's power twists and reshapes itself around his core. His breath comes faster now, not from fear but from the sheer intensity of the energy coursing through him. Dot. Nearly a year after the nuke fell. Dot. Zara looks down at the prisoners of war, her mind a jumble of stress and guilt. I wish I could have given them warning, she thinks as the Talcarian soldiers prepare. She watches a group of soldiers load the belt-fed LMGs along the perimeter of the massive cavernous space. Her nerves on edge, she taps her fingers and foot. I hope they notice something's off, she thinks as she sees Makhail looking at her. She looks over at her CO as he eyes her closely, not fully trusting her, a soldier given in trade years prior.